This segment is brought to you by the 2013 Ford Focus ST. Hello, welcome to Hak5. My name is Darren Kitchen, and this is your weekly dose of technoless. We've got a fantastic show today because we're kicking off a series as part of a big, awesome workshop that I did at the epic hackerspace in San Francisco, Noisebridge, and it's all about our favorite thing. That's right, the Wi-Fis. Well, thank you guys all for coming out. I am super stoked to be here. I don't know if everybody here knows me. This is the Wi-Fi hacking workshop if you were looking for something else, you're in the wrong place. But my name's Darren Kitchen, and I am a hacker, but we're in a hackerspace, so aren't we all hackers? It's a good place to be if you're a hacker. Actually, this is where I got my start as a hacker. I don't know where you guys were. I also was on FNet. That was a good place to be, too. And back then, it was really cool to have fun with the phone company's network and write e-zines. And so, anybody here involved in the phone phreaking scene back in the day? Okay, so my allure in the phone phreaking scene, like many others, was one, you could be as cool as David Lightman, right? And two, free phone calls. I mean, there's no better way to impress a date in middle school when you can use a box on a payphone to get a free long distance call, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not so much. But after the initial allure, let me tell you, the more and more that I got involved with the phone phreaking and by way of taking my bicycle around the neighborhood, as you do when you're like 13, and talking to linemen on the side of the road who would have otherwise just had a dull day, and showing some sort of enthusiasm for the work that they do. And it was actually through that I developed a lot of social engineering skills and learned a lot about just the way things work. I mean, when you show interest as a 13-year-old in things like, you're like, hey, what are you doing over there, Mr. Lineman, man? And they're all like, I'm fixing a something thing. And you're like, cool, is that pair gain? Are you guys using pulse amplitude modulation? And suddenly it's like, all right, kids, sit down. Because most of them got interested in being a lineman or working for the telco or whatever because they were intrigued with, well, at their time, blue boxing. My generation was red boxing. Current generation going up, I don't know what it is. Hopefully it's, Wi-Fi, and part of what I do and what I did back then, writing e-zines, and what I do now as a podcaster is hopefully foster a generation of people who will not be considered script kiddies. So what we're going to be talking about today, well, I say we're hacking Wi-Fi. It sounds really cool, and it is really cool. But I'm going to be taking the same kind of approach that I took when I was a little kid learning about phone phreaking. And that was, sure, the allure of cracking into a wireless network or getting a free phone call is really cool. But once you start to get past that and learn, like, hey, how did that even work? And you start realizing, like, well, you got 24 subscribers and the pulse amplitude modulation, and that gets pulse code modulated into a bunch of ones and zeros, and then they do this thing where they put them all together on a T1. It's called time division multiplexing, and suddenly your mind is blown, right? So I'm going to be doing the same kinds of things today, and we're going to be doing practical examples for each of those, breaking down our favorite IEEE specification, 802.11. The podcast is called Hak5. Started that in 2005 with Paul over here, and then Shannon showed up a little bit later. And for the last year, we have been shooting this show here in the Bay Area. And I forgive, on behalf of all of us, we're sorry for not having come out here and done something like this earlier. But here we are now. And so this will be a lot of fun. And don't have any slides for this, but I should probably mention that one of the things that we do at Hak5 to sustain ourselves is we run an e-commerce store where we sell a lot of fun hacking Wi-Fi gear and other stuff like that. We brought some toys, and we are selling everything at cost today. And like Noisebridge, that's how we keep ourselves going. We're not here to give a seminar on selling our crap. We're really here to just kind of teach fundamentals and then get into other fun stuff that you can do, regardless of where you buy your toys. But if you would like to follow along, Shannon's here has a whole bunch of the same exact Wi-Fi dongle that I'm going to be using today, as well as USB keys, Backtrack 5 Linux, if you want to follow along with that as well. And if you would like to keep that at the end of this, as well as the Wi-Fi pineapples, you're welcome to at cost, and it's all going to go over to Noisebridge as a generous donation. So That would be cool if you guys supported Noisebridge that way. Oh yeah, I've also done fun stuff with these guys, and that's pretty cool. Oh, and then I moved here on a motorcycle with a monkey, and that was pretty cool too, but I'm not going to bore you guys with that. Actually, I got to stay at I3 Detroit when I was going across the country, so I'm representing. Yeah? Holy crap, dude. Just noticed. Yes. So I am a security researcher in that I've been researching security, and really the things that I'm interested in are not just like, oh, this nifty exploit with the buffer overflow and the bits went here and the bits went there. It's like I kind of like to think of it as in, taking a broad look at the protocols and the inherent trusts and risks that are involved in those sorts of things, and taking advantage of those inherent trusts. Now, when I say I'm a security researcher, really what I mean is I want to be this guy one day. I mean, look how freaking cool that is. He's got a rocket coming out of his cast. I know. So as such, I've also had a lot of fun building some fun toys, and so we'll be talking about some of that stuff a little later. But that's what I think when I think security researcher. And so I already mentioned it, trust models, taking advantage of the inherent trust, and that's going to be kind of a theme going on with this. But one of the other very fundamental things when you start taking a look back, not even giving a crap about the technology, but looking at like what's happening as far as like society is concerned and technology and how security comes into play there, is convenience. And that is another big theme that as security researchers anybody should be thinking about, because wherever there's convenience, there are inherent trusts that can be violated. So we're going to take a quick poll. Who here is familiar with all 7, 8, 9, 9, we'll say 9 of the IEEE 802.11 management frames, just by show of hands? 4 out of them? Okay, this is perfect, okay? Because this guy right here, has anybody here been to ShmooCon? Okay, awesome hacker conference on the East Coast, and the way that they do things there is when a speaker is giving a panel or talk, whatever you want to call it, you are encouraged to take one of these guys and throw it at the presenter if you'd like to call or you have a question. Not technically the dog. Actually, they give us squishy balls. I don't know what you guys have. Maybe you throw your cell phone, your underwear, whatever you have. This guy got really into it, and he decided to make something that automates the process. They stopped doing this at ShmooCon. That's Larry Pesci, by the way. He's awesome. So the disclaimer is that by participating here, you agree that you're going to be hacked. Don't worry, it's all cool. And the tools demonstrated are totally legit, and they're used by the government and penetration testers, and they've got FCC Part 15, and they don't harm kittens. We're probably going to do a lot more than that. So before the hacking begins, though, anybody know what one of these guys is? Yeah, all right, all right. And then that. I know I made these really difficult. Oh yeah. And so what do we see we're doing here? Every time that we iterate these generations of musical media, and I'm not going to get into an argument about vinyl, but some would say that the convenience and the quality enhances, right? Well, there's no bell curve here because something took a major crap when this became the norm. How did we fuck up this bad that this is our state of music? Where are my liner notes? Like, this isn't OGG, this isn't FLAC. Anyway, that regardless, the reason that this is our norm in music now is the same reason that the tape took over from the record and the CD took over from the tape. You didn't have to flip it over. You had the skipping of the tracks and all that fun stuff. And this you can totally easily download. So we give up quality, but we get convenience. And this isn't the only time that that's happened. Anybody know what one of these is? I had to look that one up. My dad had one of these. It's pretty cool. In fact, I found when I moved recently a box of these, and one of them is labeled Apollo 11, moon landing, and the moon maidens that they brought back. So I'm going to have to go down to Gasser and see if I can transcode that, because I imagine that my dad recorded it off the television, but yes, that. Oh, jeez. We're gonna digress. So this thing, way more convenient. It comes in cassette form. And if you're, what is it, you Be Kind and Rewind or something like that? I got nothing on that one. And then somehow, unfortunately, we ended up here. Actually, this is a lot more convenient, but then what the heck? Right? And we deal with this. And we're like, oh, stupid internet, right? And whatever. You know, I didn't have to go down to Blockbuster. Guys, I'm really stoked here because Ford was awesome enough to lend us a 2013 Ford Focus ST. It's got an awesome combo of tech and muscle, and this gives us a unique opportunity to finally do a Wi-Fi versus car shootout. All right, so you got the Ford Focus 2013 ST. Shannon and I are going to be using these parabolics, right? Yeah. So this is kind of like those Yagis we've used in the past, except they're like much more narrow of a beam. And so 10 degrees. So if you get me within your sights 10 degrees, I'm going to be down on the shore with the same thing pointed up at you. We should be able to get a solid Wi-Fi signal, and I'm going to use a SCP file transfer to copy the music on my laptop up to the Wi-Fi pineapple access point that's connected to here with a little pineapple juice battery pack going on. It's going to be really fun. Paul's got the same files, the same music files, on a USB key that he's going to be shuttling in the car. So it's very much like that old adage of like never underestimate the bandwidth of a station wagon full of DAT tapes. Except in this case, it's not a station wagon, right? Here's the premise. We're at the peak here at the Miller-Knox Regional Shoreline, and Shannon's going to set up camp with one of the parabolics at the top of the hill. I'm going to be at the old ferry building at the bottom here. Now we have a direct line of sight that's about 1 mile. Now I'm going to be down here transmitting music up to Shannon. So we're going to start the contest down here, and Paul is going to have to drive up to where Shannon's position is. Now of course for him, he's going to have to go up this road, through this tunnel, around through town, up the hill, across and over, and then finally climb up to Shannon's position. I think that it should be a pretty fair competition. All right, we're associated. Let's see, we get a ping. Oh, dude, ping replies. Look at that, 6 milliseconds, 1 mile. Oh, check this out, check this out. I wrote a signal program, /signal, link quality 68 out of 70, negative 42 dBm. Dude, this is solid. Look at this, not even fluctuating. Let's get everyone on the horn and then start this puppy.
All right, Shannon, we got you on the line?
Hey.
All right, and Paul, are you in Ford?
Yes.
All right, and in 3, 2, 1, go.
And I see Paul coming this way.
Oh, well, we've got 160 kilobytes per second.
And my Wi-Fi pineapple is fully powered.
It keeps dropping out. I got like 50% of it. I don't know if it's gonna...
50%? You gotta make it go faster than that, dude.
Please say a command.
Navigation.
Navigation. Search where?
Miller-Knox.
Setting new destination.
Okay, we keep getting dropouts.
Dude, Paul's like around the corner.
Almost there.
Come on, man. Oh, yes! Paul totally beat you, man.
Oh,
As you guys can see, we've had a lot of fun with the 2013 Focus ST, and I want to thank Ford for not only supplying the cars, but sponsoring the show and making this awesome file transfer competition happen. We're like, oh, stupid internet, right? And whatever, you know, I didn't have to go down to Blockbuster. Are there those anymore? And that's cool because, again, just going ahead and sacrificing quality for convenience. Or security for convenience, as we're going to find out here real soon. Trust. It's all about trust. There are inherent trusts in everything that we do. Do you trust the computer? Does the computer trust you? Does the computer trust the computer? Does man trust man? You know, some writers could have some fun taking that one apart. But now it's time to really break it down and start getting into the geeky stuff. Anybody know who these guys are? No. These are the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. They're a nonprofit professional association of hip geeks making cool stuff since the 60s. They made Wi-Fi and Ethernet and a bunch of other cool stuff. Wi-Fi, right? We all know it as Wi-Fi, but really that term is just something from the Wi-Fi Alliance used for marketing to promote IEEE, those guys, 802.11 standard, because nobody wants to go to Starbucks and be like, hi, can I get the password for the IEEE 802.11? Actually, they don't even want to do that, so there's no password. We'll get to that. Now, like I said, the branding term came around in '99, and Wi-Fi, or 802, we're going to use these words interchangeably. Whenever I say Wi-Fi, I mean 802.11, takes advantage of the unlicensed ISM spectrum. So the ISM band is this really nifty thing that the FCC gave us all in 1985 when I was 2. And they unlicensed this whole set of spectrum that was previously used for industrial, scientific, and medical stuff, which is pretty cool the way that the acronym worked out. Who knew? Previously reserved, and it's actually like, it was reserved because a lot of equipment would operate in those frequencies. The best example really is the fact that a microwave oven operates at 2.45 gigahertz, which is like smack dab in the middle of that piece of spectrum that we know and so if you're ever wondering why when you're making a burrito, it's interfering with your Wi-Fi, that's why. Actually, why don't we do a demo? Is there a microwave in Noisebridge? I assume there is?
No, not currently.
Yeah,
Not current?
It's perfect.
For real? All right, fire it up.
Throw it out. So we go in the kitchen and check.
Did you? Oh, here it is.
Do you want me to go ahead and hand these out?
Hand what up?
The alphas?
Yeah, go ahead. So while I'm setting up this, if you would like a Wi-Fi adapter, either to follow along with today or to follow along with and then keep as with a donation to Noisebridge, let Shannon know, and I'll go ahead and get our first demo going.
Just raise your hand as I come around.
Okay, so the device I'm about to use here is called an Ubertooth 1. It's a spiffy tool developed by an excellent security researcher by the name of Michael Osman. He did a bunch of fantastic Bluetooth pen testing for quite a while and basically got fed up with the industry and the way that there aren't any really good Bluetooth dongles out there that it can go into promiscuous mode and do raw frame injection and the same kinds of things that we need on the Wi-Fi world to have lots of malicious fun, or mischievous fun is what I should say. And so he actually went out, and this guy knew nothing about hardware before, and actually went ahead and created his own Bluetooth dongle that operates again on our wonderful unlicensed ISM band to do all sorts of fun, happy stuff. And it's called the Ubertooth 1. We actually have it in, Shannon, we might have a few Ubertooths, right?
Yeah, I brought 3.
Okay, so one of the cool things that it can do inherently, since, as a Bluetooth debugging device, since it is on the 2.4 gigahertz spectrum, is that it can be used as a rudimentary spectrum analyzer. So we're going to be talking a lot about channels a little later, but I figured this is a good place to talk about this since we're just talking about microwaving burritos, in that what you're seeing over here on the left is channel 1 on the 2.4 gigahertz spectrum when we're thinking about channels in the terms of 802.11b, well, one of the more common protocols. And then over on the far right would be channel 14. These are actually, that area right there is actually reserved for Japan, so I'm not really sure why there's stuff going on there. But hey, we're in hackerspace, whatever. Nobody from the FCC is here, right?
This is in Japan.
Yeah, whatever. You want to kick it on?
Turn on the microwave.
So as soon as it goes on, if it's in range, we should see a lot of... Well?
I think that was the blender.
Just imagine this really freaked out. It's dead, Jim.
Hey, Darren.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, no joke. So that didn't work out so well. But suffice it to say, and what...